he went much farther than I would have gone, but it's just, I can see that, I could see why he was obsessed and why it carried him forward. And so, what I guess I'm trying to say is I related to that character in some ways, portions of that character, a little easier, and I think it was territory that David was much more comfortable working in. And then you carried that to Twin Peaks, and so that continued, the Twin Peaks was, I was kind of the eyes of television audience, so we never knew the depth. We got a sense of it on the final episode of Cooper's Obsessions and what that darkness might be. We never really went into that. Skirted around it a little bit. But I think the sense was that he was very capable. He had to travel into the dark corridors. And that he, even though he was quite boyish on the outside, that there was he was okay with that. He had a way to take and channel that, cleanse himself and those around him. And that to me was kind of the link, one of the links between the two. Whereas Jeffrey was kind of caught up into it and hadn't experienced it, didn't know where to process it. Cooper processed it and was already, on its way. Thank you. Yes.
Mr. McLaughlin, I read an article on the internet that suggested that your involvement in Fire Walk with Me came with some resentment that you didn't necessarily want to get so involved in the project, and you say that it was because of Cooper's step into the background. And I wondered, what were your personal feelings about the involvement in the project? Was it a frustrating return to a project of which you'd already washed your hands? Did you feel like there was something to salvage?
Well, I was young. And I think, it's hard when, it was difficult when you were there when something so personal was pulled away from you, and Twin Peaks was pulled away from us, and I felt just very unhappy and kind of out of sorts. And I kind of said, I kind of had a reaction of like, screw it, that's it. So when it came back around again, I was like, what are we trying to do? We already tried it. It didn't work. So I had this kind of weird resistance, I think, to Cooper again, because Cooper, for me, existed in that place, on that night, in that arena, and I wasn't ready because I didn't feel like we were worthy somehow, or I didn't feel like we were, it wasn't like a triumphal thing, it was very painful to go through the last few episodes and know the handwriting was on the wall, and you just like really, really had a heartache. And I think that more than anything was sort of the driving force behind any kind of, acting out that I did. Did you?
Yeah.
Just because
I got really weird and really angry that I was kind of abandoned. It was like, okay, Julie, now you go this way and do your thing. How do I do what? It was really, and I got really angry, about that.
I think that's normal. I don't know.
Well, yeah, it's similar. I remember, you reminded me of that time and the feelings when you sort of knew they were looking for closure, that word, and whether they're going to find it or not. Because by the second season, you had people writing in the New York Times, the guy saying, "Who cares who killed Laura Palmer?" And they completely missed the point. I wrote an angry letter to the New York Times, which I never printed, and watch it. Let something change in the television landscape, and rather than trying to put it in your box, and so there was this, bittersweet feeling about trying to finish something that you had only just begun, and Ben and Jerry Horn were supposed to be in Fire Walk With Me, and they decided not to use those scenes. We never, contrary to some rumors, they were not filmed. We never did a thing, but I did read the scenes, And so, and I just think David was moving on in a different kind of creative fervor, to try to finish up that story, make it a complete thing, and so there were those mixed feelings that happened at the end of it.
And may I ask a quick part two? Might we see you again in 25 years?
Me?
We're getting close.
We're getting there.
We're getting there.
What did Mark Frost say the first night? Twin Peaks is a continuing story.
Continuing story. I guess in our minds.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I wanted to say, Julie, I saw you perform with the B-52s at the Shoreline Amphitheater back in the late 80s, and it was amazing because I was looking forward to seeing the B-52s, and then you were there, and I was like, oh my God, my worlds are colliding, and it was amazing. But my question actually was about the possibility of the 25 years and the next chapter of Twin Peaks, but I have to say, honestly, I feel like I got my closure. I don't really need it to continue. That's me. I don't know about anybody else. I like, as much as it feels like at the time the rug was pulled out from under me, I'm fine with where it ended. But I know there's that question out there. My question changed as I was in line. It's more about how David Lynch, this is totally a polar opposite question, how he directed senior citizens. Because he has as I was watching that final episode, I was like, he is just a master. I don't know where he finds them, or if it's just something that he just is incredibly gifted at. But I noticed they have like a similar kind of walk and gait, and there's something really incredible to watch in that final episode. There are several instances of it. There's the mayor, there's the bank vault guy, there's the Black Lodge, I can't remember his name.
Senior Girl Cup, the waiter.
Exactly. There's just an incredible, he's really good at directing those kinds of, I don't know how he does it. Anyway, if you were there for any of those scenes, maybe you can comment on what that must have been. Maybe you saw something that we are not seeing. Or noticed anything. Any comments on it at all? I would
Just a fan like you.
I would just say
To see, Hank, the episode where you get shot, was a fantastic. Say again?
Hank Warden.
Hank Warden, fantastic. This guy is an amazing actor in all John Ford's movies, and I happened to do another movie with him called Hammett that Ben Benders directed, that Francis Coppola produced, and he was just in that. Said, thank you kindly, and I think he just has that observer's eye where he just really enjoys it so much, just to watch them do their thing, and it's really unusual and fantastic.
I think David's one of his maybe not his greatest ability, is the casting. I mean, he's obviously brilliant in so many things, but that is a skill. I don't even know if it's a skill. It's just an intuition. So he brings these people in, and I always feel like David sets the world, and then he lets the people that he's brought into that world just kind of be. And so, to a certain extent, yeah. So he nudges and pushes and moves around. But in the case of like Hank, he wants him for that very thing that he brings, And he has such an enjoyment out of watching actors. I mean,
He gives them time. I mean, it seems like there's like time for them to be doing whatever it is that they do, and he just allows it. It really feels like he just lets.
Well,
he's enjoying it as much as.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
But but David, you can speak musically about this. David's rhythm and tempo is very, very specific. And I think the long tracking down the phone chord is a great, it's like, who would do that? And so the scene goes from like, oh, it's so tragic, Grace is still weeping and wailing, so you're like, God, it's kind of funny. I feel sort of bad about laughing, but and so that's how he does it. He's just taking that little bit of time and he's just twisted your emotions a little bit.
Thank you.
Hey guys.
I'm a big fan of his painting. I just have to say, I'm a huge fan of him as an artist. And I think a lot of it is him putting, doing his visualization of it. I mean, that's how he does things. His paintings and his photography are my favorite.
Was there any kind of artwork that he would do specifically for Twin Peaks?
The whole molding of the cast and the mood and everything, the music, the lighting, everything.
But any sort of,
do
you guys ever see like sketches or things that he would maybe do to provide like production design work? I'm not sure if that's anything you might have come across.
It was the stuff when we did Dune and Blue Velvet. He do these shading things. He would sort of doodle. I got one doodle on Bob's Big Boy placemat, paper placemat, doing some stuff, and I would try to imitate it, and figure out why is that little box sort of drifting up there and it's got sort of blunt on that end, and then how does that balance with? I was so fascinated by his composition, I couldn't figure it out, and that's it's like that's when you look at his frame, the composition is instantly recognizable as Lynch and instantly interesting, and therefore I think it's everything. The painting.
Hey, like most people here, Twin Peaks messed me up when I was 11 years old. I was in Manila, Philippines, and they were gonna give like 1 million pesos to who could guess who killed Laura Palmer. So I was like, I want to join that contest. And then I saw the Dancing Dwarf episode and I couldn't sleep. So thank you for that. I just wanted to ask about the last episode, the final episode, because it must have been really sad and somber, saying goodbye to everyone. But then at the same time, you have this very dark and very different sort of episode, and you kind of had to be a lot more intense. So I wanted to ask, what was it like shooting that last episode, and what you felt, I guess, being such a close collaborator to Lynch, what you felt about the projects he did after Twin Peaks. This is for Kat.
I just remember that scene, where I'm, banging my head against the thing, and just kind of really curious about it, kind of where it was coming, where it was going, because it seemed to exist, obviously, well, it did exist in a sort of little bubble, and, but also being sort of in a euphoric sense when I did it, thinking to myself, oh, wow, this is a really, just that alone was telling that it was something that I was hoping would happen, and it didn't. So, but and I mean, I've just watched David, as we all have, continue to amaze and mature and challenge with his films and all of his art, but with his films and just it's. I don't know, it's like like a great painter. He starts and everything is very clear and kind of, Blue Velvet sort of follow things along, and then things begin to twist further and further and further, and I'm just going places that I can't even, I don't understand. You just have to go on the journey and just trust that you're,